Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered if talking to your phone or a chatbot could actually help you feel better when you are down? Well, this new study dives deep into that very question. So, here is the deal. Lots of people are struggling with their mental health, and some are turning to AI like ChatGPT for emotional support because getting help from humans isn't always easy or available. But how good is this AI support compared to what our friends or family might offer? That is the big question these researchers wanted to answer. They focused on something psychologists call cognitive reappraisal. Think of cognitive reappraisal as a mental superpower. It is about looking at a tough situation and finding a different way to see it, which can help dial down those negative feelings. For example, if your friend is stressed about moving, you might help them by pointing out that the hardest part, finding a place, is already done. This technique is super helpful and can even be taught. The researchers decided to test if AI, specifically GPT-4, could do this reappraising trick as well as, or even better than, humans. They set up 4 studies to really dig into this. In their first study, they gave humans and GPT-4 a bunch of little scenarios, like a friend forgetting your birthday, and asked them to do that reappraisal thing. Then, other people rated how good these reappraisals were. Here is where it gets juicy. When they looked at the ratings, GPT-4's reappraisals were seen as more effective, more empathetic, and more novel than the ones made by humans. It wasn't more specific, meaning it didn't tailor its advice perfectly to every single situation. But overall, it impressed the raters. What is really interesting is that they found that the more time humans spent on their reappraisals, the better they were. But even when they tried to make humans put in more effort, the gap between human and AI performance didn't close. This hint that maybe it's not about effort, but something else, like skill. They then moved on to study 2, which was more like a real-time chat. People talked about the negative experience they had and got a reappraisal back from either another person or GPT-4. Again, GPT-4 came out on top, being rated as better at helping people see things differently. In study 3, they really tried to boost human performance. They offered money incentives to people who did well on their reappraisals. The participants actually spent more time on their reappraisals when they were offered more money. But guess what? It didn't actually make their reappraisals better in the eyes of the raters. The gap between humans and GPT-4 stayed pretty much the same. So, if it is not just about trying harder, what is it? Study 4 tried to figure this out by messing with people's perceptions. They sometimes told people if the reappraisal came from a human or from GPT-4, and sometimes they didn't. It turns out, when people knew it was from GPT-4, they sometimes rated it a little lower, especially for effectiveness. But even when they knew it was AI, GPT-4's reappraisals were still often seen as better. Now, for the really interesting part, the language analysis, they looked closely at the words used. They found that GPT-4 used more complex words than humans. And here is a kicker: when humans used words that were more typical of GPT-4, their reappraisals were rated as higher quality. It seems like the specific vocabulary AI uses might be key to why we perceive it as better. So, what does all this mean for us? The research suggests that right now AI like GPT-4 is pretty good, even better than many humans, at offering this specific type of emotional support cognitive reappraisal. This could mean AI could be a valuable tool for helping people reframe negative situations, either on its own or by assisting humans. However, the researchers are quick to point out some important things. First, they were mainly comparing AI to everyday people, not professional therapists. Top professionals might still have skills that AI hasn't caught up to yet. Second, while AI might be great at giving a single good response, genuine emotional support is about more than just one clever comment. It involves care, long-term companionship, and understanding that AI currently can't provide. They also noted that the way they measured reappraisal quality was through human ratings of effectiveness, empathy, novelty, and specificity. There isn't one single perfect way to measure this, and different methods might yield different results. Plus, they tested this with short-term brief scenarios. Real-life emotional problems are often much more complex and drawn out. Ultimately, this research is a fascinating glimpse into a future where we might seek emotional support from AI. While AI shows promise in specific areas like reappraisal, it is not a complete replacement for the deep, nuanced connection we get from other humans. It really makes you think about what we value most in emotional support. Is it just the advice, or is it the person giving it? What are your thoughts? Have you ever used AI for emotional support? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more explorations into the fascinating world of psychology. See you next time.